T-26E1-1 Super Pershing. M26 Pershing. It was a heavy tank that the United States had developed to combat German Tiger I at the end of World War II. As you know, M4 Sherman, which had been operated by the United States Army, was inferior in both firepower and armor to German Tiger I and Panther. The production was small, but the shamans who saw these tanks shook. To be called Tiger phobia. A powerful new tank was being sought at an early date, but the AGF, which loved the shaman, delayed the development and deployment of the M26 Pershing. After a number of twists and turns, in January 1945, 20 Pershing will be deployed for the first time to the 3rd Armored Division, and will be formalized as a M26 Pershing heavy tank in April. Because it was the end of World War II, it was not doing great activity, but its firepower and armor were comparable to Tiger I and Panther. Although about 6,000 Pershing were ordered, only 1,436 were completed by the end of the war, and there were places where deployment of the unit was not in time. By the time M26 Pershing was deployed, the Germans had already started using Tiger II, a monster over Tiger I. Tiger II has more powerful armor and firepower than M26 Pershing. In an effort to counter that, a hardened version of Pershing was quickly created. And it was the T-26E1-1 heavy tank that was born. The main gun was modified from a 50 caliber 90mm gun M3 to a 70 caliber 90mm gun T-15E1, making it possible to launch a high penetration shell comparable to the Tiger II. However, the cannon was disproportionately long and heavy for Pershing's body. Also, probably because it was remodeled in a hurry, there is an external equilibrator to balance the main gun. After that, the first prototype of the T-26E1-1 heavy tank was tested in the 3rd Armored Division of the United States, which had been deployed in Northern Europe. It was delivered to and maintained by the 3rd Armed Forces Division of the United States, which had been deployed in Germany on March 15, 1945, and by their hands the T-26E1-1 armor was reinforced. The front armor plate of the captured German Panther was cut out and welded to the front of the body and turret of the T-26E1-1. This modified version was called Super Pershing. Although it was T-26E1-1 Super Pershing finished in perfect condition, it reached the end of the war without encountering Tiger II on the front line. And it is sent to the accumulation place immediately after the war and becomes scrap. Hello, Japan's WarThunder player everyone. This time I will introduce the heavy tank T-26E1-1 Super Pershing. The heavy tank T-26E1-1 Super Pershing is a rank 4th American heavy tank with a battle rating of 6.3. The T-26E1-1 was added with update 1.57 Battle March. The Japanese player calls the thing of Super Pershing by the abbreviation. They call it a spapper. The main gun enhanced from M26 Pershing, and the captured Panther armor is welded to the front of the body in the turret, and its defense power is also high. It is the only and special tank that the US Army on the front line has made the best modifications to fight the strong Tiger II. However, as a result of the improvement, the mobility has been further deteriorated from M26 Pershing, and the power-to-weight ratio has become almost the same value as Tiger II. Depending on the map, you will often suffer from that dull foot. The important thing is to choose a flat land that is easy to move, and head quickly to the main battlefield of the map. And if you encounter an enemy, it is 90mm T-15E1 cannon turn. There are 3 types of shells that are commonly used when using Super Pershing. First, to take care of T-43 AP shell, the main T-41A PCBC shell, T-44A PCR shell for strong enemies. The great thing is that every shell has a penetration of more than 200mm and you will not be bothered by the lack of penetration. Basically, the T-41A PCBC shell alone is sufficient, but to be on the safe side, it is a good idea to have a small number of APCR. In addition to excellent penetration, the T-41A PCBC is capable of killing most enemies with just one shot, as the amount of explosives is more than double the 88mm of German tanks. It will be the best gun for hunting tigers. Of course, it is also effective for other heavy tanks. And as for armor placement, Super Pershing is complex. Let's see in detail. The armor on the side and back is the same as M26 Pershing, but an additional armor is welded on the front. The front of the vehicle has 101.6mm armor of Pershing, and 2 additional armor of 38.1mm. In addition, the apparent thickness is higher than the actual armor thickness, because all armor is inclined. Oh my god. It is amazing armor thickness of 300mm. No, this is wrong. Unfortunately, on WarThunder game system, additional armor can only provide 30 to 40% defense than the actual figure. In fact, including the main armor and additional armor is about 200mm. It is difficult to satisfactorily prevent Tiger II 88mm cannon. Luckily, if you take lunch, the apparent armor thickness will be about 240mm, and you can prevent 88mm. However, there are many other weaknesses, so the accustomed enemy will aim for it. Most of the upper front and lower part of the body prevent the shell. Machine gun part with thin armor. Both ends of the front lower part can be easily penetrated, because the slope is loose. It makes me sad when I see it. Also, the seams between the car body and the side will be easily penetrated, because the armor is thin. In addition, if the enemy has a large diameter gun that is strong against inclined armor, the front of the body can only provide about 160mm of defense. It's fucking. By the way, the 80mm additional armor in front of the turret exerts the same level of defense. There is an armor thickness of approximately 190mm, along with the 114.3mm armor of the Pershing mantlet. However, the area where the turret and mantlet armor overlap has an armor thickness of 300 to 400mm, and it cannot be penetrated. Even more troubling is that there is a 148mm armor under the gun sight holes in the mantlet armor. Here the armor thickness is about 220mm in combination with the additional armor, and even if you shoot the 190mm armor part, the shell is often invalidated. When fighting from the front, it will be difficult to avoid the main gun and penetrate the front of the turret cleanly. The weak point of the turret is the 4 corners of the turret, with no additional armor and a thin armor thickness likewise. The neck armor is thin, so it is a weak point too. In addition, since ammunition is placed on the right side, it is also effective to aim here. Machine gun holes and gun sight holes are also weak points, but it would be less realistic to aim here during battle. Depending on the situation, the armor placed to aiming also changes. Think about where you can penetrate and shoot the shell. Let's introduce the basic turnaround. At first, be aware of the operation of the heavy tank and move to a point where you can actively shoot at the enemy. The mobility is poor even after the renovation, so it may be frustrating that only about 20 kilometers will come out, but let's endure. It will be a little late to arrive at the front line. Carefully check if the enemy ambushed and start fighting with the enemy. Alright, with the exception of tanks with large caliber artillery of 122mm or more, armor will be very reliable. However, be careful not to isolate the side and back armor, because they are thin. If you are in a good position, take advantage of good guns and armor to slowly and reliably destroy the enemy. There is no need to be afraid. Let's aggressively attack. If you don't use it wrong, this tank can be a monster afraid by enemies as Tiger II. This tank has such potential. Hopefully, you will support the advance of friendly tanks, survives to the end, and continues to be the threat of the enemy. Aim for victory and greed. I wish you good luck. Goodbye.
というわけで今回は T-26E1-1 スーパーパーシングことスパパに乗って RD を戦っていきたいと思います。思考が強化されたスタッパーシングに鹵獲したパンターの装甲を貼っ付けたというロマンに溢れる特別な戦車だぜ。 だもともと重戦車として完成してた車体にさらに装甲を増やしたわけだから機動性はほんと劣悪。まあ悪いところ含めてこいつは個人的に結構好きな車両だ。かっこよければ性能がどうだろうがあんまり気にならないよね。で今回のマップはラインタワ進撃、南スポーン。とりあえず今は A に向かってるところ。ここは A 取れるかどうかがかなり重要だよな。スポーン位置が近いから一度押し込まれてリスキル祭りになることよくある。お、A に敵入ったね。こいつの足じゃ一番乗りはまず無理だな。まあ一番乗りできても敵やれなきゃ意味ないしね。敵発見。リアクト6614撃破。A に入り損ねたか。遅れてスポーンしたのかな。じゃさっさと A に入っちゃおう。だが、深いに向かってる味方結構少なくないか。3、4両ぐらいついてきてくれてるけど、他は全部 B に流れてるみたいね。まあ頑張るしかないわ。踏ん張るしかねえ。それじゃあ様子伺いつつ A に入ってる敵を探ってみるとする。まあ大方軽戦車だろうな。軽戦車でも RU251 とかはあんまり相手したくないわ。追加装甲つけてるけどヒート FS にはあんまり効果ないもんな。車体、砲塔どっちも余裕で抜かれてしまうよ。PT76B 撃破。そしてリロードの隙を狙って6個に出てくるやつ。RU じゃねえかー。砲塔内全滅してエンジン壊されたんですけど。お疲れ。まだこんなとこで死にたかねえぞ。あれま、味方の T-32E1-1 イケメンすぎる。間一髪だったな。味方のいるうちにさっさと修理終わらせちゃおう。砲周りは壊されてないから修理中も一応戦えるわ。ティーガー2がのんきに来てるわ。ポルチェ砲塔の方だな。顔面に食らわしたるでー。かましたれ。砲塔内は潰せたけどやっぱり正面からだとワンパンは厳しかったか。車内広いからしょうがない。まあ修理終わったら仕留めに行こうかな。すぐそこで修理してるっぽいし。見たとこすぐ近くに敵もいない感じ。スモークバンバン焚いてるけどこれだけ距離近かったらあんま意味ないよね。エンジン修理完了するぜ。さあ、囲碁特艦。虎は完膚なきまで叩きのめす。慈悲はない。さて、奴はどこだ。いたいた。あや。リーガー 2P 撃破。なんか奥にちっこいのが。AS-57 か。こいつは主流でいける。スローニング M1919 の味はどうだ。ちゃんと召し上がれよ。気を無理だもねえや。AS-57 撃破。こういう車両は一度見逃すと後々面倒だからね。なんか周りの味方が処されてるんで一旦下がろうか。了解。交代速度はパーシングと同じで13キロ出るからなかなか快適。お、なんか乗り上げてる野郎がいるぜ。あや。砲弾消えたか。なぜだー。コーストチェル問題前に直したって公式が言ってたんだけどな。直した。直るとは言っていない。やっぱり惑星ってどこかがガバガバなんだよね。でまあ、A の敵も片付いて占領完了したわけですが、西側がフリーなんでそこから敵が来てるみたい。あっぶね。その角度からじゃあ相当抜かれまいて。お返し。したいところだけど隠れちまったか。攻めるぜ。味方がやったか。ナイスナイス。お、右側に荒らせた。607無反動砲くんじゃないか。あや。軽装甲車両じゃ狙いどころは上と対してダメージ与えられないな。弾薬に命中したがニーバストまではいかなかったか。反撃怖いから隠れとこ。それでも重戦車か、パパか。さすがに部をわきまえないとヤバいやつもいるから。でか601式3燃えたまんまなんですけど、熱々ですよ。あ、これもしかして消火器に開発とか。なんかに開発したいな。60式撃破しました。せめて修理パーツと消火器ぐらい最初から使えるようにすればいいのによ。なかなか外人はそういう方向に踏み切ってくれないのよね。でも味方も上がってきたし攻めていきますぜ。ほいほい。もう味方がだいぶ制圧してんな。やはり連合は強い。今の RB は全体的に連合優勢な感じはしますね。関数よく改定やってからかなりやりやすくなった感はあるな。お、この奥に敵がいるみたい。あや。T-44 撃破。結構際どい角度だったが完成できたな。T-44 ならまあまあ余裕ね。車体正面は厳しいかもしれないけど。少し進んだところの影で待ち伏せ。ここからなら奥のリス地から湧いてきた敵がどこから来ても対応できるわ。あや。SU100 撃破。味方の航空機も多数飛び回ってるしもう逃げ場ないな。我が軍は圧倒的であった。その後は敵が来ることもなく無事勝利したわ。やっぱりこのマップ一回攻め切るとそのまま終わっちゃうんだよな。 だったけどなんだかんだ活躍できてしまったわ。
あんまり走行を生かした戦いができなかったけどな。
まあ基本は撃たれる前に撃つって感じだからね。動画だけではこの車両の良さは100伝えづらいから、みんな実際に乗ってみてどんな感じかしっかり体験してみてね。
投げたな。
投げました。実は解説部分だけで編集パワーが尽きかけてたなんて言えない。
もう解説部分だけでいいかもしれないが、ゆっくりも好きっていう人いるからな。
皆さんの意見をお聞かせください。今回使ったスパパは通常3車両の中でもかなり強い車両だと思います。
実装当時はそこまで強くなかったんだがその後のアップデートで化けていった。
このグレートな手法と走行で DR6.3 という低めの DR なのがいいところ。みんなも機会があれば使ってみてね。それでは今回はこの辺で、ご視聴ありがとうございました。
また次回。
そうそう8月2日からWarThunderで限定兵器が獲得できる夏イベが始まってるから、プレイヤーのみんなは要チェックだよ。ではでは。